In a world completely overwhelmed by ongoing debates as to which adaptation of cinema is better, the West has Hollywood, the East has Bollywood, but in the middle we have the Globerwood Critic. Greetings, my lacy chaps and chapasses. I'm the Globerwood Critic. Ever since the millennium year ended, Bollywood has evolved from doing more traditional musical romances to more contemporary and controversial films. The first being is the use of horror genre. And where better than to start off with What Lies Beneath and Raaz. What Lies Beneath was director Robert Zemeckis' third attempt at doing a horror movie, his others being The Frighteners and House on Haunted Hill. And yes, I know what you're saying, Raaz, directed by Vikram Butt, is basically a straight rip-off of the other, but since this was the industry's first attempt at doing horror, there are loads of positives that make both films stand out to their target audiences. So without further ado, let's indulge into this comparison and see which of the two films is better. Here's What Lies Beneath versus Raaz. Now, seeing as though both films features the wives being haunted, let's begin this comparison off with Best Actress, Michelle Pfeiffer versus Bipasha Basu. Now, if you've seen both films, you're probably wondering, couldn't these two characters be any more half and half? The two women are similar as they are shown as devoted wives to their mysterious and workaholic husbands. In What Lies Beneath, we have Claire Spencer, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, and she is shown to be living quite a happy married life with husband Norman, played by Harrison Ford. The only thing that makes her a tad bit mysterious is the fact that she has no memory of the previous year due to an accident that took place.
You did wrap your car around a tree doing like 80. It was pretty shaken up. We all were.
It was an accident. A year ago. I'm fine. Right?
In Raaz, on the other hand, we have Sanjana Dhanraj, played by Bipasha Basu. What's different about her character is that she's shown to be on the verge of a marriage breakdown, for her husband, Aditya, played by Dino Maria, is more interested in doing business deals and spend time with her. Plus, she's shown to seek comfort in taking sleeping pills.
क्या मैं तुम्हारा पालतू कुत्ता हूँ?
पालतू तो तुमने मुझे बना दिया आदित्य। ऐसा लगता है तुम मुझे शादी करके नहीं, मुझे खरीद के लाए हो।
Now, both the female leads are haunted by two different ghosts, but deal with their situations very differently. But which one of these two leaves a deeper impact and stands out more? As much as I love the powerhouse performance Basu delivers as Sanjana, it's the mystery behind Pfeiffer's character, Claire, that makes her backstory more interesting to watch. She has no memory of what happened the past year prior to her accident, but for some strange reason, it signifies towards her being haunted. Point goes to the West. Now comes possibly the most disturbing of the comparisons that I didn't think I'd be man enough to do. It's Best Spirit. Amber Valletta versus Malini Sharma. Now, since both spirits use the same methods in both films to haunt the female leads, there is a vast difference between their motives. But let's take a look at how they became them in the first place. Madison Elizabeth Frank, played by Valletta, is shown as a university student who studied in the same university that Norman attends. Through a scene where Madison possesses Claire in an attempt to seduce Norman, it is then discovered that during the previous year prior to Claire's accident, Madison and Norman were having an affair.
I think she's starting to suspect something. Your wife.
She threatened to expose his affair to both Claire and the school, only to have Norman kill her and dump her body in the nearby lake. It then becomes her purpose while haunting Claire to expose Norman's betrayal and letting the truth emerge from his mouth. However, little about her backstory is shown, plus there's no screen time of her showing the affair between her and Norman. In Raaz, we have Malini Sharma playing herself. In the beginning of the film, her spirit awakens while a couple of college students disturb her resting place in the woods. After possessing the female student and having her killed in the mental hospital, she begins her purpose in haunting Sanjana. What differs from her character to Madison is that instead of being a university student, she's an escaped mental patient. She meets Aditya while he's alone in the house, and after a day or two, the two begin their affair. It is only when Sanjana rings Aditya and that he doesn't tell her about Malini that Malini's inner demon begins to awaken, becoming more demented and sinking into deep obsession over Aditya.
उस कुतिया और मेरे में सिर्फ एक ही फर्क है ना आदित्य? उसके गले में ये पट्टा बंधा हुआ है? हाँ? लो ये पट्टा मेरे गले में बांध दो। उसे हमारे बारे में सब कुछ बता दो। बता दो उसे कि तुम सिर्फ मुझसे प्यार करते हो।
Now Aditya, being determined not to wreck his marriage to Sanjana, it's during his final confrontation with Malini that she vows to expose the affair to Sanjana by killing herself in front of him. Hence begins her mission to further damage the couple's marriage and having Aditya killed. Unlike Madison, who was shown to be a victim of Norman's mistake, Malini is shown as the primary villainess, and for me, she stands out the most as the better spirit. She's given more screen time, more of her backstory is shown, and her methods of haunting her targets is more terrifying. Point goes to the east. Now it all comes down to the most important factor, it's the story. Now both stories take their approach in telling the narrative in a similar fashion. But what's different, if you may ask? Well, let's look at what lies beneath. The film begins with Norman and Claire escorting their daughter to college. All of a sudden, inside Norman's ancestral home in Vermont, strange hauntings begin to occur while Claire is alone. At first she suspects it might have something to do with the new neighbours, but it's until a picture breaks in Norman's study that she sees a newspaper clipping of Madison, it becomes apparent that the hauntings and Madison may have a significance.
Frank. Madison. Elizabeth. Frank. M.E.F.
Determined to find out the truth, she performs a ritual using a strand of Madison's hair found while visiting Madison's mother, allowing her ghost to appear and possess her. While being possessed by Madison's spirit, in an attempt to seduce Norman, Claire's memory returns and remembers seeing Norman and Madison together the night she had her accident. 20 minutes later in the film, Norman attempts to bury the secret of Madison's death by killing Claire himself. However, his plan backfires when the corpse of Madison drags him beneath the lake while Claire swims to safety. Raaz, on the other hand, begins off with the awakening of Malini's soul before introducing the main characters. Unlike what lies beneath, the couple are shown to be suffering a marriage crisis. It is only until Sanjana's accident at the start that both her and Aditya decide they need to make their marriage work.
मैं अब उसी तरह सब कुछ वहीं से शुरू करना चाहती हूँ जहाँ हम पहले मिले थे, जहाँ से हमारे प्यार की शुरुआत हुई थी.
Sanjana suggests that they go to Udi, the one place where their love meant something. But what they don't know is that this was the exact same location of where Malini's ghost was awakened at the start. Okay, I know what you're going to say. The film scenes in this are replicated from the original, such as the scene where the various items fall and of course the scene where Sanjana attempts to contact Malini's ghost through a ritual, allowing her to be possessed. However, there are various different scenes in this movie that makes it a tad bit better to the original. We are shown the accident in which Sanjana is involved in, but unlike Claire, who suffered amnesia, she miraculously remains alive and well. The scene where Sanjana sees Malini is changed from in the bathroom to the mirror inside the patio. And of course there's the near climax when Malini attempts to kill Aditya herself. But unlike the original, Sanjana, knowing full well of her husband's betrayal, is still determined to save and support him in order to not let Malini win.
वो मेरे आदित्य का कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ पाएगी। एक बार तो वो उसे मुझसे छीन चुकी है। दोबारा मैं ऐसा उसे कभी नहीं करने दूंगी।
Now what's different? In What Lies Beneath, the setting is in the state Vermont. What I didn't like about the setting is that it looks as if it were a suburban town, plus there was no mistiness surrounding Norman's ancestral home. Raaz, on the other hand, makes up for that error by having their setting set in the middle of nowhere, choosing a rural setting in Ulpi and also having loads of mistiness following around both the house and the woods. The supporting cast in What Lies Beneath are given less screen time, for the majority of the scenes focus on not just the hauntings, but the relationship between Norman and Claire. Raaz, on the other hand, gives their supporting cast more screen time and have portrayed them as pillars of strength for the main cast. Some want to repair Aditya and Sanjana's marriage, and others want to discover the truth behind the hauntings. One character that stood out for me, in particular, was Professor Agni Swarab, played by Ashutosh Rana. He's the second person who encounters the spirit while the female student is being possessed.
और आप कितनी भी कोशिश कर लीजिए, इस बीमारी का इलाज नहीं कर पाएंगे आप, क्योंकि आप सिर्फ इंसानों का इलाज करना चाहते हैं, बिगड़ी हुई आत्माओं का नहीं, और ये एक बिगड़ी हुई आत्मा है.
He acts as a mentor to Sanjana, along with Sanjana's best friend Priya, while Aditya is out on a business trip. Unfortunately for him, he's eventually killed and momentarily possessed by Malini's spirit, as she became fully aware of what he and Sanjana had planned to do to her body. But in the end, Sanjana overcame the odds and defeated Malini's ghost, saving Aditya in the process. And one other thing that people would often ask me, can musical numbers work in a horror movie? Now, being a bit of a Bollywood freak myself, I genuinely believe that any musical numbers would work in any particular Bollywood film, including this one. And to my surprise, I was totally right. Even though there wasn't any dancing going on in any of the songs, apart from the business party scene at the beginning, what makes the song stand out is that it tells the story of Aditya and Sanjana's relationship, what their thoughts are throughout their journey. You have the songs that remind them of their love, and then there's the songs of when the truth is finally revealed and their feelings are being expressed towards the audience.
ये न जाने के इसे कितना प्यार करते हैं.
And because of all these terms such as best storyline, cast, musical numbers, and of course more horrific images, I can say hands down, Raaz is the superior film. So there you have it. Raaz beats What Lies Beneath in this comparison. I'm the Globerwood Critic. Until next time, Aaj ke liye alvida, mere desi lokho.